The cold wind howled across the frozen planet. Thick white snow covered the ground. The sky was dark, and two moons slowly moved behind the clouds. A small alien patrol ship flew low, scanning the surface. Inside the ship, Kareth, a young alien pilot, looked at the screen. His green skin glowed under the lights. "Captain, I found something," he said. Captain Voro, older and taller, walked over. "What is it?" Kareth pointed at the screen. "A crash site. Metal pieces and life signs." Voro raised an eyebrow. "No one comes to this planet. Too cold, too dangerous." Kareth nodded. "But someone did." They turned the ship and moved toward the signal. As they got closer, the wreck came into view. A small escape pod was half buried in snow. Smoke rose from its broken engine. The patrol ship landed nearby. Kareth and Voro stepped out, wearing warm suits. The wind pushed against them as they moved to the pod. Voro opened the hatch slowly. Inside, the lights flickered. The walls, wires hung from the ceiling. And there, lying on the floor, was a human. He was badly hurt. His face was pale, blood on his forehead. His suit was torn. But his chest moved slowly. He was alive, a human. Kareth whispered. Voro looked serious. "We can't bring him back. It's against the law." Kareth stared at the man. "But he'll die here. Alone. Frozen." Voro thought for a moment. "Take him, quickly, but tell no one." They carried the man into the ship and closed the hatch. The engines roared as they flew away, leaving the crash behind. Inside the ship, the medical bot worked fast. It scanned the human and started healing him. The human's eyes moved, but he didn't wake up. "Do you know who he is?" Kareth asked. Voro shook his head. "No, but humans are dangerous. Their kind is strong, smart, and full of war." Kareth looked at the sleeping man. Then why does he look so broken? Days passed. The ship stayed hidden on a quiet moon. Inside a small room, the human lay in bed. Machines beeped softly. Kareth came every day to check on him. On the 6th day, the human opened his eyes. His hand moved quickly, reaching for a weapon that wasn't there. His eyes were wild. "Easy," Kareth said, stepping back. "You're safe." The human looked around. "Where am I?" His voice was weak. "You crashed. We found you." "You were dying," Kareth explained. The human stared at him. "You're not human." Kareth smiled a little. "No, I'm Tharnian. My name is Kareth." The human tried to sit up. Pain shot through his body. He winced. "Don't move." "Too much," Kareth said. "Your body is healing." The human looked at his hands, then at the room. "You saved me." "Why?" Kareth didn't answer right away. "I don't know. Maybe because no one else would." Later, Voro entered the room. He looked serious. The human sat up now, breathing slow. "Are you?" he asked. "I am Voro, captain of the patrol ship," he said. "And you?" "Captain Jack Rayner, Earth, Defense Forces. Unit 17. Voro crossed his arms. "Why were you here alone?" Jack looked down. "My ship. Ambushed, betrayed. I escaped." "Crashed." Voro's eyes narrowed. "By who?" Jack's face darkened. "I don't know. Maybe my own people. Maybe someone else. Doesn't matter now." Kareth stepped forward. "You're safe now." Voro didn't look happy. "No, he's not. The council finds out, we all go to prison. Or worse." Jack looked. "Between them, you should have left me." Kareth said firmly, "We don't leave people to die." Outside, the moon was quiet, but far away, in deep space, a small signal blinked. A listening drone caught it. It sent a message across the stars. Someone knew the human was alive. Back inside the ship, Jack sat alone. He stared at a small photo in his hand. A woman and child smiled in the picture. Kareth stood at the door. "Family?" he asked. Jack nodded. "Gone. Years ago." Kareth sat beside him. "I'm sorry." Jack looked at him. "You really helping me?" Kara thought for a moment. Because maybe, if we help each other, the galaxy can be better. Jack looked away. Maybe? But deep down, he wasn't sure. Not yet. The moon was cold and quiet. Inside the hidden ship, Jack Rayner slowly got better. His wounds were healing, but his mind was still full of pain and questions. He walked with a limp, holding the wall for a support. Kareth watched him from the hallway. "You're strong," Kareth said. "Most people wouldn't survive that crash." Jack looked at him. "I've been through worse." Kareth smiled a little. "I believe you." Jack didn't smile back. He didn't trust them yet, not fully. Inside the medroom, Jack sat on a bench. Kareth brought him a warm drink. It was blue and smelled strange. "What is this?" Jack asked. "Kelroot tea. It helps the body," Kareth replied. Jack took a sip. "Tastes like dirt." Kareth laughed. "It is dirt. From a good root." Jack chuckled a little. His first laugh in weeks. Later, Jack walked through the ship looking at the strange alien tech. Smooth walls, glowing buttons, floating screens. Everything was quiet and clean. Vor, the captain, stopped him. "You should rest more." Jack stood tall. "I'm ready to leave." Voro frowned. "You're not healed. You have no ship. Where will you go?" Jack didn't answer. He didn't know. Voro stepped closer. "You must understand. We broke our laws to save you. If the council finds out, you'll be punished," Jack finished. "So why did you do it?" Voro looked at Kareth, who was nearby. Then he said, "Because sometimes the law is wrong." That night, Jack had a nightmare. Fire, screaming, his team, his friends gone. He woke up covered in sweat. Kareth was outside the room. "Bad dream." Jack nodded. "They left me. My own people. I was just cargo to them." Kareth sat down. "Do all humans fight like you?" Jack shook his head. "No, but I was trained for it. Since I was a boy." Kareth looked curious. "Why?" Jack looked up. "Because Earth always had enemies, and sometimes we become our own enemies." In the following days, Jack helped with small repairs. On the ship, he was good with machines. He learned fast. Kareth showed him how to use a translator device. It fit in the ear and helped him understand their language better. Now, Jack could talk with others on the ship. Some were still scared of him. Others were curious. He told simple stories about Earth, about oceans, cities, food, music. Kareth listened closely. "Earth's sounds loud," Kareth said. Jack smiled. "It is, but it's home." One afternoon, Kareth took Jack outside. They stood on a hill looking at the stars. "Do you think anyone's coming for you?" Kareth asked. Jack looked at the sky. "If they are, it's not to rescue me. It's to silence me." Kareth looked surprised. "Why?" Jack's face turned cold. "I saw something I wasn't supposed to see. A secret project. They destroyed my ship, killed my crew." Kareth asked softly, "So you were running?" Jack nodded. "Running and hiding." They stood in silence. Then Kareth said, "Well, now you're not alone." Later, Voro called Kareth into a private room. "This human, he brings danger," Voro said. Kareth replied, "He also brings knowledge, skills. He can help us." Voro looked at the door. "He is a soldier. He's been hurt. That makes him strong, but also unpredictable," Kareth said. "Maybe. But he saved my life during the engine fire." Voro raised an eyebrow. "He did." Kareth nodded. "He pushed me out of the way. Burned his own arm doing it." Voro didn't say anything for a moment. Then he said, "Watch him. Hey, and if trouble comes, be ready." That night, Jack sat alone again, fixing a small device. Kareth came in. "What are you building?" he asked. Jack held up a small chip, a beacon, a message. Kareth looked concerned. "To who?" Jack didn't answer right away. Then he said, "To anyone who's listening. Maybe someone out there still cares. Kareth looked at the chip. If the wrong people hear it, Jack stared at him. Then I'll be ready. Outside the ship, the stars blinked quietly. Far away in the darkness, ships moved. Something was coming. Something big, but Jack didn't know it yet. And when he did, it would be too late to run. The ground shook as the enemy ships landed on the far side of the moon. Dust clouds filled the air. From the hills above, Jack watched through a long-range scope. His eyes were cold and focused. "They're fast," he said. "No markings. Signals. Classic Black Ops." Kareth crouched beside him. "How many?" Jack zoomed in. 3 ships. At least 30 soldiers. High-tech gear. They're here to erase everything. Back at the base, the crew got ready. Weapons were loaded. Armor was checked. The traps Jack had designed were armed. Voro stood in front of the crew. "This is not a fight we asked for. But we will not run. We protect each other." Jack stepped. "Up! They don't expect resistance. Let's surprise them." That night, the stars were hidden behind thick clouds. The enemy moved fast and silent through the canyons, but Jack was ready. A small drone flew overhead. Sending live video back to the base, Kareth watched the screen. "They're splitting into 2 teams. Jack smiled. "Good. Makes them weaker." Near the old mining tunnel, the first enemy team stepped onto a pressure plate. Boom. A silent mine exploded, sending fire and metal in all directions. 2 soldiers were gone instantly. The rest ran for cover. Jack gave the command. Now. From hidden rocks, his team opened fire with a mix of earth and Tharnian weapons. The second team turned back, confused. That's when the second trap went off, a shockwave bomb that knocked them down. Kareth led a group in from the side, using stun blasters. The fight was quick and sharp. Within minutes, 6 enemy soldiers were captured. The rest pulled back, but the battle wasn't over. In the sky, a new signal appeared. Kareth saw it on the radar. Another ship, bigger. Coming fast, Jack cursed. They called for backup. Voro asked, "Can we run?" Jack shook his head. "No fuel. No jump drive. We hold or we die." In a quiet room, Jack activated the beacon again. This time, he didn't wait. He sent a direct message to an old Earth military channel, one only a few trusted commanders knew. "Captain. Jack Rayner. Location. Mining moon Zat-9. Under attack. Hostiles. Unknown Black Ops. Friendly alien crew assisting. We need help now." He sent it, then sat in silence. Hours passed. The bigger enemy ships stayed in orbit. "No attack yet," Kareth said. "They're watching," Jack nodded. "They're waiting for us to break." Suddenly the comm screen blinked. A voice came through. A cold, sharp voice. "Captain Rayner, you've survived too long." Jack didn't answer. "You hold stolen property. You are guilty of betrayal and spreading classified knowledge. Surrender now, or we will erase everything." Jack turned on the mic. "I have nothing left to surrender."
He dies.
"And these people, these aliens, are more human than the ones who sent you." The voice replied, then prepared to die. The signal cut off. Back in the war room, Jack stood with Kareth and Voro. "They'll hit us hard," Voro said. Jack nodded. "We hit back harder." Kareth looked at the beacon. "Will anyone come?" Jack stared at it. "I don't know. I haven't spoken to Earth in years." Kareth asked softly, "Do you still trust them?" Jack took a long breath. "I trust someone out there still remembers what we stood for." That night the crew sat together. Jack told them stories of Earth, of soldiers who fought for peace, of friends who died with honor. Kareth shared stories of Tharnian heroes, of unity, of sacrifice. They were not the same species, but they shared the same heart. The next morning, just before dawn, the warning alarm went off. Kareth checked the screen. The big ship. It's charging weapons. Voro grabbed his rifle. This is it. The crew moved to battle positions. Jack stood at the front, rifle ready. "If this is the end," he said, "we go out fighting." But then something strange happened. A new signal appeared on the scanner. Fast, Large. Hundreds of contacts. Kareth's eyes went wide. It's a fleet. Jack leaned forward. Whose? A second later, the answer came. The Earth Defense Fleet. Dozens of ships jumping into orbit. The Tharnian crew cheered. Some cried. Jack smiled. They heard me. The enemy ship tried to flee, but it was too late. Human warships surrounded it, locked weapons, and gave one command: stand down or be destroyed. The Black Ops ship powered down. The crew in the shelter watched it all on the screen. Stun.ca single turned to Jack. You were right. Jack looked at the stars. They came, and this time not to kill, but to protect. The sky above the mining moon was no longer dark. Dozens of Earth warships hovered in orbit. Big ships, strong ships. Their metal hulls shined in the starlight. Human technology, fast, deadly, and proud. The Tharnian crew stood outside the shelter, staring up in silence. They had never seen anything like it. Kareth whispered, "So many." Jack Rayner stepped forward. His face was calm, but his heart was racing. "They didn't forget me," he said softly. In space, the Earth fleet surrounded the Black Ops ship. Lasers were locked, missiles were ready. The enemy had no chance. Power. Down came the command from Earth's main ship. Or we will fire. The enemy ship shut off all systems, surrendered. Earth had arrived, and brought justice back at the shelter. Signal came through. Captain Jack Rayner. This is Admiral Sloan of the Earth Defense Fleet. We received your beacon, preparing to land. Await contact. Jack stood still. He hadn't heard that voice in years. Kareth asked, "What now?" Jack looked at him. "No. I go meet my people." Two large Earth shuttles landed near the shelter. Dust filled the air. Jack walked out to meet them. Kareth and Vora walked beside him. Behind them, the Tharnian crew stood strong, but tense. The shuttle doors opened. Earth soldiers stepped out. They wore dark armor with the Earth symbol blue and silver. Then, Admiral Sloan walked down the ramp. Tall, gray-haired, sharp eyes, he stopped in front of Jack. "Captain Rayner." He said. Jack nodded. "Admiral, you've caused a lot of trouble." Jack smiled. "Good to see you too." Admiral Sloan looked past Jack. His eyes scanned the Tharnians. "These aliens saved your life?" Jack nodded. "They broke their own laws to help me." Sloan didn't smile, and in doing so, they broke interstellar treaty. "This is a serious issue." Jack's voice turned firm. "They saved me when no one else would. They fought beside me, bled beside me. That means something." Sloan stared at him for a moment. Then he said, "We'll talk. All of us." Inside the shelter, a meeting was held. Human commanders, Tharnian leaders. Jack sat in the center. Kareth spoke first. "We never meant to start a war. We only wanted to help someone in need," Foro added. "We took a risk to do what was right." One Earth officer asked, "Why trust a human?" "Your kind feared us." Kareth replied, "We feared what we didn't understand." But Jack showed us another side. Jack stood. "I saw humans turn cold. I saw friends die. But these people, these aliens reminded me what it means to care." The room was quiet. Then Sloan said, "There will be an investigation. But you have earned the right to speak." Later, outside the shelter, Jack and Sloan walked alone. "You know, this doesn't fix everything," Sloan said. Jack nodded. "No, but it's a start." Sloan looked at him. "The fleet is ready to take you home. What will you do?" Jack looked. At the shelter, at the crew, at Kareth, standing nearby. "I am home." Sloan raised an eyebrow. "You're choosing them?" Jack said. "I'm choosing peace." That evening, the humans and Tharnians shared food and stories. For the first time, two sides that once feared each other sat together. Jack stood near the fire with Kareth. "We fought to survive," Jack said. "Now maybe we can fight to build." Kareth nodded. Together. Earth ships and Tharnian transports flew in formation side by side. A message of hope across the stars. but far away. The shadows of space, a hidden enemy. Watched, they had failed to kill Jack Rayner, and now they had something new to fear. Humans and aliens working together. The sky above the moon was calm, but inside the ship something had changed. Warning lights flashed on a small screen. Kareth looked worried. "Captain, a long-range scanner just picked up something strange." Voro came to the control room. "What is it?" Kareth pointed at the screen. "A probe. Council military class. It passed close, I think. It saw us." Voro's face turned hard. "Then they're coming." Jack stood near the window watching the stars. Kareth walked in. "We have a problem." Jack didn't turn. "Let me guess. Someone's coming." "To kill me?" Kareth nodded. "Yes. A hunter ship. Maybe more." Jack's voice was calm. "Then we run." Voro entered. "Run where?" "We have no orders, no allies. If they catch us, we're traitors." Jack stepped forward, then stopped. "Thinking like soldiers? Start thinking like survivors." Voro looked at him. Jack added, "I've escaped worse. Trust me." Within an hour, the crew got busy. Supplies were packed. Systems were checked. The ship was old, not built for fighting. But Jack had ideas. He went to the engine room, opening panels and rewiring systems. Kareth followed him. "What are you doing?" "Boosting the jump drive," Jack said. "It'll burn hotter, but we'll get farther." Kareth raised an eyebrow. "And if it breaks?" Jack smiled. "Then we explode." The alarm sounded. Hunter ship had arrived in orbit, Voro shouted. "They're scanning the moon. We have minutes." Jack ran to the bridge. "Take off now. Full power." The engines roared to life. Snow and dust flew into the air as the ship lifted off. In orbit, the hunter ship locked on. "Incoming missile," Kareth shouted. Jack grabbed the controls. "Hang on." He sent the ship diving between rocks and canyons. The missile followed, but hit a mountain wall and exploded. The whole ship shook. "Shields down to 20%, Voro yelled. Jack flipped switches fast. "Hold steady. Jump drive ready in 30 seconds. The hunter ship fired again. This time, 3 blasts. Jack flew low, close to the ground. The blasts missed, but rocks slammed into their ship. "We're losing pressure in the back hull," a crew member screamed. Jack didn't stop. He hit the jump command. "Now." Stars outside twisted and stretched. The ship jumped. Silence. Only the hum of the engine. They were safe. For now, everyone took a deep breath. Kareth turned to Jack. "You really weren't lying? You've done this before?" Jack nodded. "A few times, but safety didn't last long. The ship was damaged. Systems were failing. They couldn't." "Jump again." Voro called the crew to the main room. "We're low on fuel. Power is dropping. We can't stay in space." Jack stepped forward. "We land. Somewhere empty. Somewhere no one will look." Kareth checked the star map. "There's an abandoned mining moon. Old shelters. No traffic." Voro nodded. "Set course and fast." They landed on the mining moon. The place was dark and broken. Old machines. Covered in dust, no signs of life, Jack led a team to check the shelters. Inside, everything was dead, but it was shelter. It was hidden. They moved supplies in, turned one room into a command center, another into sleeping quarters. Kareth looked around. "Not home, but it'll do." Jack smiled. "I've lived in worse." Days passed. Jack helped fix systems, taught the aliens survival skills, how to fight, how to watch for signs of danger. In return, Kareth taught Jack about Tharnian technology. He was a quick learner. The crew slowly began to trust him. He wasn't just a human anymore. He was part of the team, but trouble was never far. One night, a scout drone passed close to the moon. Jack spotted it on the scanner. "If that drone sees us." Kareth nodded. "More ships will follow." Jack made a decision. He grabbed a laser rifle, went outside, and climbed a tall rock hill. Kareth followed. "What are you doing?" Jack pointed. "It'll pass. Right over that ridge." When the drone appeared, Jack aimed carefully, and fired. The drone exploded in midair. Kareth stared. That'll stop them. For now, Jack nodded. But not forever. Back at the shelter, Jack sat alone, looking. At his damaged beacon chip, Kareth entered. Still trying to send a message? Jack sighed. Not yet. But soon? Kareth asked. Do you think anyone will come? Jack looked out the window. If they do, I hope they come in peace. He paused, then added, but I'm ready either way. It's far away in the dark of space. Another ship received a signal. It was human, and it was angry. The old mining moon was quiet. No cities, no lights. Just rock, dust, and silence. But now it had life again. Jack and the Tharnian crew worked every day. They fixed the shelters, repaired solar panels, cleaned old machines. They turned the dead station into a hidden home. Jack stood outside, looking at the horizon. Not much to look at, he said. Karth smiled beside him. But it's ours. Inside, the main room was full of sound tools, machines, and voices. Jack showed the aliens how to set traps, hide supplies, and defend the shelter. He drew maps and made training plans. These aren't just drills, he told them. If someone finds us again, we fight. Kareth helped too. He used Jack's ideas and mixed them with Tharnian tech. They created new systems part alien, part human. The others began to see Jack not just as a soldier, but as a leader. In the evenings, they sat around old heaters and shared stories. One night, Kareth asked, what was Earth like? Before the war? Jack thought for a moment. Blue skies, trees, people laughing. I used to fix engines with my dad. On weekends, we ate fried fish near the water. Kareth smiled. Sounds peaceful. Jack looked down. It was. Till everything changed. Later, Kareth showed Jack how to use a Tharnian memory crystal. It records full thoughts and images, he said. We keep our history this way. Kareth gave Jack a crystal. You should record your story. Jack stared at the small, glowing stone. Maybe someday. Weeks passed. The shelter grew stronger. They built watchtowers, dug hidden tunnels, installed scanners and shields. They trained every day. Some Tharnians struggled with weapons, but Jack was patient, taught them with care. Voro watched from a distance. One day he said to Kareth, he's changing us. Kareth replied, maybe we need to change. One morning Jack was in the tunnel when a young alien named Fion ran up. Sir, we found something, we said. Jack followed her to an old storage chamber. Inside were boxes covered in dust. He opened one and stopped. Weapons. Earth weapons. Stolen years ago during border raids. It's still working. Kareth joined him. This changes everything. Jack smiled. Yeah, now we can fight back. That night, Jack sat on a hill, looking at the stars. The beacon chip was in his hand again. Kareth sat beside him. You still thinking of sending the signal? He asked. Jack nodded. Not to call for rescue. Just a message. A warning. Kareth looked concerned. What if they come and bring war? Jack's face turned cold. Then they'll learn who you really are. Brave, loyal, worth saving. Kareth was silent for a moment. Then he said, we trust you, Jack. Even if the galaxy doesn't. Not all crew members agreed. That night, one Tharnian Ural slipped into the comms room. He didn't trust Jack. He believed humans would bring death. He sent a silent message to the Tharnian Council. Subject alive. Human Jack Rayner. Location attached. The next day, everything seemed normal. Jack taught combat drills. The crew laughed. They ate together like a family. But in space, far above, something moved. 3 ships. Fast. Silent. Coming closer, in the command room, Kareth saw it first. Jack, you better see this. Jack stared at the screen. 3 ships. No signals. No flags. Stealth class, Jack said. Assassins. Elvoro joined them. They're here for one reason. Jack nodded. To finish the job. He stood in front of The crew, listen up. We don't have a fleet. We don't have backup, but we have a chance. He looked around the room. We trained for this. We prepared for this. He held up a rifle. They expect us to run? We won't. The crew shouted. In agreement, Jack smiled. Let's show them what a family can do. The crew moved fast. Shields were raised, traps set, weapons ready. Jack sent one final signal through the beacon chip, short and clear. To Earth Command, I'm alive. I've found allies. But we're not safe. If you believe in what we stood for, come. Then he closed the device. Outside, the enemy ships began to land. Jack grabbed his gear. Kareth stood beside him. Jack asked, You ready? Kareth smiled. I was ready the day we saved you. They walked out together, side by side. Behind them, the crew followed, armed, trained, and unafraid. War was coming, but this time, Jack wasn't alone. The warships were gone now. The sky above the moon was quiet again. But inside the old mining shelter, tension was rising. A full investigation had started. Tharnian high officials had arrived, said more Earth commanders. Uniforms, rules, cold faces, no emotion. They came not to thank but to judge. Jack stood in the main hall with Kareth, Voro, and the crew. The council table was set. Earth leaders on one side, Tharnian officials on the other. In the middle stood Jack, alone a human. A soldier who had broken rules. A man who had become a symbol, an Earth general, stood. Captain Jack Rayner. You were accused of activating a banned beacon, using old war codes, and leading a private battle without orders. The Tharnian judge added, You were also involved in the hiding of a human within Tharnian territory and act against the peace agreement. Jack stood tall. All of that is true. Kareth stepped forward. But you forgot to mention he also saved lives. He stopped a secret kill squad, and he helped my people survive. The Tharnian judge raised a hand. Silence. We're not the one on trial. Voro stood up, then put all of us on trial. We followed him. We fought beside him. He is one of us. A quiet voice came from the human side. Admiral Sloane. He looked at Jack. Tell them everything. The truth. No lies. Jack nodded. He stepped forward. Everyone watched him. He said, Years ago, I followed orders. I believed in Earth. I believed in the mission. Until I found out the truth. He looked at the Tharnian judge. I saw Black Ops units destroy innocent ships. I saw orders signed by shadows. I was part of something dark, and I ran. He turned to the human side. I didn't run because I was scared. I ran because I couldn't be part of murder. The room was silent. Kareth stood again. He held something in his hand, a small glowing crystal. A memory crystal, he said. Jack recorded everything. His crash, the rescue, the fight, the warning. It's all here. He placed it on the table. The judges took it, one by one. They saw the truth. Hours passed. Then the final judgment was ready. The Tharnian judge stood. Captain Rayner, we see now that our laws must change. You acted with honor. You are not our enemy. The human general stood. Captain Rayner, you broke protocol, but you saved lives, exposed corruption, and stood for peace. Your record is cleared. The room filled with quiet shock. Kareth smiled. Voro clapped once. Others followed. Jack didn't smile. Not yet, he asked. What about them? And pointed to his alien crew. The Tharnian judge said they will be honored as heroes. Later that day, a small ceremony was held outside the shelter. Tharnian and Earth's flags stood side by side. Jack received a medal. But more important, so did Kareth, Voro, Fen, and the whole crew. They stood together. No longer fugitives. No longer forgotten. After the ceremony, Sloane pulled Jack aside. You could come back, Sloane said. We could use a man like you. Jack looked at the stars. Maybe someday, Sloane asked. What will you do now? Jack smiled. Help rebuild. Teach. Protect. That's enough, Sloane nodded. The fleet will remain close, just in case. Jack gave a short salute. Thank you, sir. That evening, around the fire, the crew talked and laughed. Kareth handed Jack a small device. What's this? Jack asked. A ship key, Kareth replied. Our own ship, a mix of Earth and Tharnian tech. We built it from scrap. With your plans, Jack held the key. Kareth smiled. Unity. Far away, in deep space. The enemies who once hunted Jack watched quietly, but now they saw something new. An alliance, a family, a warning. You can't kill an idea. 1 month later, the mining moon was no longer just a shelter. It had become a base. Small. Buildings were built. Satellite towers reached the sky. Humans and Tharnians worked side by side, laughing, planning, building. The war was over for now, but something greater had begun. Jack Rayner stood on a metal platform, looking down at the work, solar panels, defense walls, training fields. He smiled. This was no longer just survival. This was the start of something new. Kareth walked up beside him. Feels strange, doesn't it? Jack nodded. Strange, but right. In orbit, a new ship waited. Big, fast, sharp Unity. A gift from both Earth and Tharnian engineers. A symbol of trust inside. The walls were a mix of Earth steel and Tharnian crystal. Human touchscreens worked beside alien holograms, and at the heart of it, Jack's chair. That morning, a final meeting took place. Inside the command hall, humans and Tharnian leaders sat around a large table. Sloane spoke first. We've talked, we've argued, but we all see the same thing. This cannot be ignored. The Tharnian judge added, the galaxy is changing, and it's time we change too. They both stood. Together, they said, let the Earth-Tharnian alliance begin. Everyone clapped. Not loud, not wild, but with respect. Years of fear and silence were ending with hope. Later, Jack stood before both sides. I was left for dead, he said. I had nothing, no backup, no help. He looked at Kareth. But I was saved, not because of law, but because of kindness. He looked at the crowd. And now we fight not as separate people, but as one. Not for war, but for peace, for unity. The crowd stood. This time, the claps were loud as the sun set on the rocky moon. Jack walked toward Unity. Now fully ready, Kareth, Voro, and part of the crew would join him. Their mission, explore, help, protect. Not soldiers, guardians. Inside the ship, Kareth sat at his station. Fionn checked the scanners. Voro ran the engine room. Jack took the pilot seat. The Earth fleet opened a path. So did the Tharnian ships. The stars stretched ahead unknown, full of danger and full of promise. Where to first? Kareth asked. Jack smiled. Wherever there's someone left behind, just like I was. He pushed the controls. Unity lifted into the sky, smooth and silent. It left the moon behind, but not its story. Back on Earth, a child watched the news screen. Who's that? He asked, pointing at the ship flying through the stars. His mother smiled. That's Captain Jack Rayner, the man who brought peace when the galaxy wanted war. The child's eyes lit up. I want to be like him someday. She hugged him. Then remember what he taught us. Never leave anyone behind. And somewhere in the deep dark of space, a signal echoed. Earth and Tharnians are no longer alone. They are one, they are ready, they are coming, not to conquer, but to protect.